Hey, welcome to another Tuesday night. It is November 9th when we are recording this live. Welcome to another Marketing Made Easy show. My name is Joey Ragona. I've got my good friend Scott Vogel sitting in the blue room. We don't call it the green room because, well, it's not a green room. So he's in the blue room. And we're going to be talking about loving your client today, believe it or not. This is going to be I'm predicting this is going to be a wild show, and just love to know what your thoughts are on that. First of all, if you're here with me live, even on the replay, hashtag replay, if you're on the replay, hashtag
Love
live,
to know
put that
what you
into
thought
the
about
comments,
that, first
please,
of
if you
all.
could. Let me know you're here or let us know that you're here. I'd love to know what you think about this whole concept before we really get into what we're talking about. There is my good friend. I told you it's in the blue room.
A blue room.
The blue room. Loving the blue. That's the no, it's the robin blue, isn't it?
Well, this isn't Robin's Egg blue. This is Paradise Sky blue. Robin's Egg blue, which, by the way, everybody should go change all their landing pages and options to Robin's Egg
Here
blue.
we go. We're already starting.
Make sure that your buttons are the right color, or
Oh my
people
gosh.
won't click on your stuff. No, Robin's Egg blue is that much lighter, almost pastel, and this is a Paradise Sky blue. And Joey, as always, I get so excited on Tuesdays because I'm like, Tuesday we get to talk about marketing, and it's like I think Monica posted, and thank you again, Monica, for always putting wonderful creations in the group, reminding people about the show. And it was just being here and knowing that it was Tuesday night was like, this is amazing. And she said that we'll do the work for you. And I'm like, work? No. This is play. This is fun.
It
This
is.
ain't anything like work. Work is like people say, I have to go to work. I really pity those people because
I
it's
know.
like, what do you do for work? I don't. Well, what do you do? I do yoga. No, what do you do? I play. I play with people all over the world and I help them do this and that and have fun and stuff. And then, yeah, that Facebook user that said hello is Verna.
Hi,
And,
Verna.
and
Brand
Lee,
new to our tribe, by the way, Verna. Thank you for
oh,
being here.
welcome. And Lee is Lee, in case you didn't know that.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Amazing for being here. I just want to make this a statement because it's November 9th, 2021, if I get my date right. And I just want to give you big props, bro. Congratulations on your brand new marketplace launch that you've been working on. Hopefully, I didn't let the cat out of the bag. But
No,
hey,
no,
I wanted to timestamp it here and give you props for all the hard work you've done, and through all of that, and everybody can help me congratulate Scott. He's done an amazing job. I've seen behind the scenes and what it looks like. It's amazing. But that aside, you just and giving you credit for showing up here and supporting and loving the tribe within all of that hard work that you've done. So congratulations and props to you, bro.
thank you, my friend. And thank you, Verna. And thank you, everybody. It's a joy because when we do everything from a heart-centered standpoint, and the center of the heart is love. And when you go out to love people and think about how do you love people, we show up every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock and have for 93 weeks in a row. Holy cow, bro.
Yes.
Because we love helping people. And we're blessed with the ability, hi, Angel, uh, we're blessed with the ability to tap into the intellectual assets that are offered out there and then be able to take it, osmosize it as we talk about. Thank you, Collie. Thank you, Verna. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Daniel. Uh, and osmosize it and not just talk about it as though, well, we read in Guru's book to do this. It's like, no, we read it, we figured it out, we did it, we tried it, and we found a better way.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what this show is about, is doing it different, Mr. Dudiff.
Yeah,
And
I got to get that. I got to move that sign over because it says like
yeah,
I'm gonna. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna move you out of the way for a second. Not well. There we go. Not this
move
way,
yourself
which
out
is
of the way.
we do different. That's what it's all about. We do different. Okay, that's what
Well,
it is.
Joe, you can put the we do different over to your right and move your book down to the center. Then we can
That's
see we do different and your book
that's what I mean. It's
right
like,
there.
and getting my head out of the way. So,
Yeah. And we are live on how many social
Oh
media?
my gosh! Now we're on all the five, or is it six? The six, yeah. So we're on all of the channels on Facebook. We're in our group in Facebook, on my two Facebook pages, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. So hello, everybody. If you're there,
Congratulations, you on that. Because remember, Joey, 93 weeks ago, we just kind of were, this is a good idea. Let's just get on and talk about some stuff.
it's amazing. Let's get into this topic about loving the client. I
Okay.
have no idea that where this is going to go. I have, as always, we never know how it's going to go, but I have moved over. I'm looking at my Evernote on this side, like you could see it. I've made some notes, picking from the billion notes that I've got inside Evernote, and just put together some prompts and ideas of where I just want to throw them out, and then we can just kind of ramble off of them. And the one area that I want to focus on first is, have you read the book The Go Giver?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I want to start on first, because I think that's maybe if you take up the whole 90 minutes or however long we're here, with the five values. And because I was introduced to that, I didn't read it until recently. And I can't remember who in the group suggested it, because I asked, hey, what's your favorite book? And whoever that was, thank you very much, because it's an awesome book. And it just resonates because it's kind of how we live our lives. And it has everything to do with loving what you do and the client. So before we get into that, like, what is your initial thought on loving the client?
Well, I believe that I suffer from untreated loving serving Tourette's. There's something in me, and it's probably in you too, that as soon as we see somebody that we know we can help, it's just immediate. It's like, I want
Hmm.
to help you. I'm going to help you. There's not even this preconceived notion and plan and underlying motives. It's like, you know what? I can help you. So let me just help you because I love helping you, because why? I love people. And if I can use my superpowers that I've been given, and again, I've been able to tap into intellectual assets and then share them with others, then I'm going to do it. And loving other human beings is the key to it. Because why were we put on this planet here? We were put on with hearts, and heart centeredness is about loving people. And that's what this is about. Is if you truly love your clients, they're going to know, and they're going to rejoice in it. They're going to be drawn to you. And of course, those that don't want to be in a heart-centered world are going to go away. You're going
Yeah.
to repel them.
Yep. I
And
want to give props up to Petra here for 1 second here. I love this. I love that logo. Congratulations on your YouTube channel, brand new. This is amazing. I really love that.
that is excellent. Oh, wow.
My
Fantastic.
bad, bro. I just wanted to give her props there because it was really, really that's
Yeah.
amazing. You're right, bro. So I'm just gonna ramble on a couple things here. So some of the stuff that I got from the book, I've got a couple highlights here that I want to talk about. And one of the things here that really struck me was that we do in our it was kind of like reading our own, like we wrote the book almost, right? And one of them is that in order to make more money, or to do whatever, to be successful, really, that's what the book is about, how to be successful and not chase that whole money situation, is to exceed people's expectations, right? And to just continue, the more you exceed their expectations, the more they'll pay you.
Right.
And that's a huge thing. Like, so everybody listening that is doing their online business and all that, I see so much out there in the world where they want to just give just enough or less. It's like, I don't want to, do more than I need to. And that's not loving the client in my mind. What do you think about that?
I totally agree. I think a lot of that is about the fallacy of the laptop lifestyle.
Get it right, man, or I'm going to be booting you out of here.
Yeah, a laptop lifestyle, the internet dream to sit on the beach and drink pina coladas with your laptop over there while you just watch the money come in, cha-ching, 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 on autopilot. That's just not the reality of it. You want to spend years and build something that can do that? Yeah, it's doable, but in the beginning, you have to start out with, even now that we built the marketplace and it's going to go out to the masses, it's still about each individual that comes in that becomes part of the family, that we want to love them in any way we can and help them to not just put them into an email sequence and of this. It was funny that I told you on Sunday, I wrote 9 emails in about 5 hours, and it was on a topic that I love, yoga. It's all about a sequence for people that join a membership and ascending them to a higher level of membership after their introduction. And this is the last opportunity because this happened in this. And then I said, I want to send out a couple of few more emails to say, hey, this is it. You came, you enjoyed this, and the yoga was great, and your life is changing, and community. Here's the opportunity to do this thing. And I was writing it. Chrissy was over my shoulder, and she goes, "These look like dumbass emails." And I emailed you, I messaged you the dumbass sequence, and we were just kidding.
Sure.
But every email that I wrote was as though I was showering love on these people, on the importance of them being a part of a community of,
Yeah.
of that. It wasn't about the features and the benefits.
So, okay, going to that, on that is, and I just want to give, this is I love this, Angel. You're so right. Like, adds
Yeah.
massive value to people's lives. It's a spiritual game. And so, to that point, you're showering love on everybody and everything else. So, is love a strategy? Is it a marketing strategy? What would you say?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, I don't think so. It's not a strategy. I
Okay.
think it's just a way of life. And that's who you are. And that's who I am. I know that for a fact that we don't love people because we're going to get something from it. We just do it because we love the person. Now I could be wrong. I'm putting words in your mouth, but that's the way I think how we approach it. And I know that this comes up to the win-win situation, and that I got from the book is like I never really looked at that before, and they said in the book that it like a win-win situation, because we always say this, which I will never say again from this point forward, is that it's kind of a numbers game. It's like a win-win, which sounds cool, but it's kind of like keeping score. It's kind of like, hey, dude, I gave this to you. Now you give something to me later on, and it doesn't have to be right away. But a win-win is like we both win. Nobody loses. Where in a love situation, it's like, look, I'm gonna give. I'm gonna give as much as I can because I love you and I want to be a part of your journey. And if you want to be a part, me helping you on that journey, then that'd be great. If not, I still love you.
Right. When I sat down to write that email sequence on Sunday, it was written with love. Was it a marketing strategy? I was using the strategic method of an email sequence, of a soap opera sequence, and looking at what was going on. There was strategy in that. I didn't say I'm going to write with love, and I chose this marketing strategy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I knew I knew that kind
I
of is
think
how you operate. It's not. I just want everybody to know that what we're talking about here is not a strategy. It's not like, oh, okay, I got to love. That's the new buzz thingy marketing
right.
strategy. No, you
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 don't
either love or you don't, right?
you don't wake up and say, okay, what strategy am I using today? Am I going to use the deadline sequence? Am I going to use the cart closing? I'm going to use the love marketing sequence today, and let me go research some words on love.
Yeah,
No, no.
and that's the way you do it. If you give more people, or if you give people more love, if you give people more support, guidance, respect, and all that, um, that's really where you're going to make more in the end. It's not this whole keeping score thing. It's not like, well, you know, I I gave them 5 emails of this awesome value, and now I expect them to buy something. You know what I mean? And looking at just the I guess the mechanics of it all. Like if you're in there to give value to somebody, you're giving value, period. And that's the bottom line. Just continue to give. And when the dream client says, "Hey, listen, I feel that there's a place for me in your universe and I
Yeah.
want to join you," then that's cool. And all you did was just be that person who just loves the client. And loving the client is not because you're making money. Love the client is because they're a dream client, because you want to be with these people for right.
You love what you do. You love people. You love helping. There's three loves in that. Again, and Vern is right. Love is a strategy in that it is how I do business. It's not an intentional strategy. That's from Verna again.
Love
And
it.
totally agreed. And that was kind of Angel said, love is not a strategy. It's the only way. And it is the only way if we're going to make an impact on, and that's Verna again, if we're going to make an impact on people's lives and the world, and at the end of it all, did we, who I don't know who said this, did we love, did we laugh? I think
Yeah, that's Brendan.
Brendan, yeah, whatever, the golden ticket thingamathingy and whatever it is. And that I have an ikigai, and it's the three basic tenets of my being is to serve God, help others, and love unconditionally. I have trouble with the third one sometimes because I want to choose who I love unconditionally.
Yeah.
When that's part of your being, and that is part of
Well,
our.
can you love your clients unconditionally or potential clients unconditionally?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I believe so too. And it's a hard one to swallow for a lot of people. It's a mindset. And I'm telling you that maybe we've discussed this before. I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. That letting go of the money
Yeah,
thing was the key to everything for me. Well, one of the keys, but it was like this conversation is not a revenue conversation. This is a relationship conversation, and that's it. Because if there's a chance that you can be in my world and I can help you, however that is, whether that's through a paid thing or not, then that's the way it's going to be. And so unconditionally was a big thing for me. And
it,
I
it,
do truly feel that.
it's difficult for people to say, I'm going to love my client unconditionally. Now, sometimes you have to love your client by firing them.
Yeah.
That's just a fact because they don't belong in the tribe because they don't want to be loved and they're not willing to open their heart to what we know. I've talked about this many times for probably the better part of 6 months to a year. I just went in a group and said, I can help these people. I can love them with my superpowers because I was gifted these things.
Yeah.
And I just went and did it. And there wasn't even if you want a faster result, I've got this program, or even if people asked, there wasn't, that because it had nothing to do with, I wasn't out there doing that. We're, of course, wanting people to go out and help people and love them. And then eventually they'll say, hey, I really want this faster and I want to work with you on a more of a level than just DMing you or seeing you in a group. I want to be in your group. I want to be in your house. I want to come to your place and play. I want to come hang out with you. Yeah, well, okay, you can. And that is what we're about, is doing that. And yes, we have offers and we have ways to help people more where our time is traded for a value of their money and they exchange their money for the value of yours, mine, and everybody in our universe's superpowers.
Yeah.
And that's Verna again. It's an important conversation. It's the Angel said it before, kind of. It's the only conversation, the only way. What if you approached everybody with, I'm going to shower love upon you in how I know with my superpowers.
Yeah. How can I serve you? What can I do today? And without that whole intention of, okay, well, I have an opt-in, I have a I have this sort of thing over there.
Right.
There's times for all that, but I think it all begins with the more you give, the more you get. The more, and it's not a again, that book opened my eyes to the whole win-win thing, where it's like, well, how many times do I need to give before I get? And that's where, like, if you're keeping score, not saying that's not a good thing. I wasn't, but it still made me now more aware of, well, maybe it's just about give and just forget about it. And I'll give you an example. Like, I mean, today was one of those situations where you just talked about where just helping somebody who just needed some help
Right.
and got on the call today. It's supposed to be 20 minutes. We ended up being an hour. It had nothing to do. There was no intake call questions or something, but just like help me do like just understand and brainstorm. And at the end, they said 3 or 4 times throughout that call was how what do you do that can help me advance my business? Like how is it that you can help me do that? And I'm like, there really isn't a way. And well, is there a way? How can I repay you? That's basically what they're asking. Like, how can I
Right.
repay you for this? I'm like, all you got to do is, you know what, just take this and run with it and impact your corner of the world. And that's awesome. If you know anybody in the future that knows what I'm doing and mention my name, that'd be awesome. But you owe me nothing. He even said, give me your payment process or something so I can pay you for the extra time today. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's all good, because that's what we're doing there. Like we ended up on that call for a reason to help that person. It wasn't and a lot of people would take that situation and say, okay, well now I can offer my stuff, right? And how am I
Right.
going to move that person over? And it's no, it's all good.
Let me ask you this, Joey.
Sure.
How do you recommend that people show up without that expectation of the law of reciprocity? Well, if I give you this thing, you give me your email, and then that email I now have to market to you. And because that's so taught and it's so bred into the teaching over the years of the whole funnel thingy, opt-in sequence, funnel thingy where you got to do this and then you got to do this and you got to send them to this and upsell and this and order bump and thingy and all that complex stuff that just gets so cheesy. How do you recommend that people get rid of that? Because there's a lot of people like, I got to make money. Yeah, you got to make money. And the biggest thing is if you think it's going to happen overnight, then you're in the wrong place here, first of all.
Okay, so I'm going to address that last piece you just said. I need to make money. I'm going to quote right from the book. If you need money, add value.
Right.
If you need a lot of money, add a lot of
A
value.
lot of value.
That's there's no secret to the laws of success. Okay. And you're right about the reciprocity. It's kind of a law that it's embedded in us as humans that when you feel as though you owe somebody, a normal like a regular human being wants to repay that person
Right.
somehow in the future or whatever that looks like. Okay. But it's not like you said, it's not part of, or at least in our world, heart-centered world, it's not part of that law of, hey dude, like I gave you a PDF, now you owe
Right.
me to
Yeah.
go buy this thing over here. That being said, does reciprocity come into play? It does if you're a giver. If you have people coming in and you continue to give value, then they feel, or some of them feel that reciprocity, that piece of like, you know what, I owe Scott now because I just want to check out what he's got going on. At least I owe him that. And they
Right.
don't really consciously do that,
No,
but
it's
that
part
comes
of
up
our
because of giving.
it's part of our nature. It
Yeah.
is human nature, that law of reciprocity. You do something for me, I want to just, out of the goodness of my heart, you gave me something of value. You provided, you showered me with love. Well, what's my natural response? I want to love you back. I want to give back in a way that I know how. Your
Right.
call we were on today, you and I have had many of those calls where they're like, well, how can I repay you? Go succeed. Go do this thing. Go just knock it out of the park. Like you said, I don't need that.
Yeah. And like when this is one of these, I don't know if this is going to help anybody listening, but you know, as like the way that I build my tribe or whatever you want to call it is one-on-one conversations. And there's multiple one-on-one conversations going on at a time. And from what I know, like I know a lot of the bots and the strategies of the chats and these and this. Give me a break, man. You know, those conversations are all specific conversations that are engaged that I'm engaged in, at least the way that I'm doing it and teaching it specifically to that person, not with an outcome, like I said, a revenue outcome, going, how am I going to make this person buy my stuff? Right. And what I learned from that process of taking that process away of going, wherever this conversation goes, it goes. Sometimes there's a chance or an opportunity for me to say, hey, I've got Atlas coming up or whatever, right here, go check that out. I'm not saying never do that, but as soon as I let that go, and then because there was many multiple conversations, is that really truly a thing? Anyway, many multiple conversations
It is now.
going on, I tend to forget about the thing. So
Right.
let's say that I went in with the intention of, okay, I'm going to lead this person into Atlas, right? Let's say that that was the thing. And I got 10 of those things going on. And then next week, 10 more go on. And I completely forget about these ones to go back in and go, hey, go check this out, right? That I learned that it was a natural process to kind of just let it all go. And they built their own timeline on when they're ready to do whatever it is they need to do, whether that's go check out the Facebook page or join the Facebook group or whatever that is.
Right.
And those conversations, so it became, I guess the whole thing I'm trying to get around to is it became about the conversation and how I can serve that person that day, not with my product, but on answering their questions and helping them on that day. I don't know if I answered your question, but
It's okay, Joey. I forgive you.
that's kind of how I would look at it. Um, you can't outgive God, but sure, it's fun trying for sure.
Totally agree with Dan.
Show up
So,
ready to serve and fully in the world fully, and your dream clients find you. Yes, they do. That's the secret.
Joey, you are living proof of that, as are you, Angel. Yeah, John, it is trust. It Watch Joey. Somebody joined the group today and had some questions about this and pricing and where, and I'm like, just model what Joey does. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, thank you for that, man. I don't like to stand on the soapbox, but that's what I tell everybody, even in Atlas. And it's like that's not hard, and I'm no different than anybody else. I'm no smarter than anybody else. It's just this of what we're talking about here. I just I just go in and I love every one of my clients. And if you do the same thing, you will be able to build the same thing because there's no strategy in it. It's just, do I want to spend my life on a deserted island with you? The answer is yes. And that's all that matters. And then those conversations end up being, well, how could you help me do this or do that or something? Oh, I happen to know how to write copy. Oh, I happen to know how to build a Facebook group or something, right? Would you like me to show you how to do that? Right? The conversation changes.
When you're doing it from the heart, the conversation's real. You're not a bot figuring out the artificial intelligence of, oh, if they said this, then this is it, but this up.
Here's the thing, Scott. You know me, like I'm always against the grain. So, and I don't care. Like, so it's not that I don't care what to be for somebody to disagree with what I stand for. Okay. And so anyway, I got into a conversation, and it was somebody asked me, basically, I said, what are you looking to help for? And they said, looking for more leads, looking for to increase leads and traffic. And right there, that ain't me. Okay. And I just said, look, I don't do traffic. That was what I said. I don't do traffic. Okay. And expecting the call or the conversation to just end. And they, replied on the thing, and you bring it down, and they said, oh my God, thank you. Like, this is so amazing. Finally somebody, but they were asking the question in the first place. I need more leads and help with traffic because maybe they've been brainwashed that that's what they think it is. And somebody comes along and says, I don't do traffic. And that opens their world. It opens up a conversation. And that's what happened. It opened up a brand new conversation because It was like, I don't do that stuff.
Well, again, as you said, Joey, people are taught that, well, you need more traffic and you need more leads. And now you have to go get more traffic and more leads. Therefore, you then have to learn how to do this, and you have to do Facebook ads and Google AdWords and all these things and Instagram stuff, this, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, we don't do that.
And that brings me up to something I was going to say earlier that you said that I want to quote from Seth Godin, which relates to what you just said too, which is this. Uh, Seth Godin says, "Do what you love is for amateurs. Love what you do is the mantra for professionals." And you said it about 10 minutes ago or something like that. I love what I do, or love what you do, right? And I was going to just bring it up, but now this
Yeah.
also relates to.
And that's an important point, Joey, that I want to focus a little bit on is if you truly love what you do it for free.
Right.
I so love what I do that I would do it for free. When I was in the speaking industry and traveling all over the world and speaking and training consulting, I would do this for free. I love it so much. And I did it for free a lot in the beginning to get out there because I so loved it. And when you're doing what you do with love because you love it, then people are Dan Kennedy, they are magnetically attracted to you. Why? Because there's not a lot of people out there that are sharing from a place of, I really love what I do. I love people, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to add so much value because I can. And it's as simple as that. The money is going to come. It's not part of the formula that, again, going back to the beginning, it's not a strategy. Well, if I love them, then therefore I'll get them to go into my funnel and opt in, and then I could love them with the tripwire and love them with the no.
I'm going to share this one thing with everyone here. I just copied and pasted this from Michael Masterson. This will take us in another direction, but I just want to paste it up here. He says that business should not be like war. It should be like love, and not a steamy one-night stand, but a mutual beneficial, steadily improving romance that lasts a lifetime. Because as you know, I'm totally, against all the tripwire language and all that kind of stuff. And everything is about war in most marketing language, targeting the audiences and all these kind of things. And this is one of the quotes I pulled from one of the notes, and I thought it was brilliant. What do you think?
Business should not be like war. It should be like love. Not a steamy one-night stand, but a mutually beneficial. It's got to be a romance, Joey. It's got to be a romance that lasts a lifetime. And how do you spend time thinking, how am I going to bring more romance, more excitement, more surprise? I was sharing with you 3 seconds before the call began that one of my creators blew me away Saturday with this training on how to use PowerPoint to create unbelievable graphics and videos to use anywhere. And I was like, I got to share this with people. This is so cool. I want people to have this. I could have charged for it. I'm not. I want to give it away to as many people because I know that I was blown away. And if I had time, I would learn how to do the things that PowerPoint, I had no idea. And that's about the romance is when I was in a relationship, the things I would do to share that romance, the surprises and all the little things that you have to think about constantly. How are you going to romance? How are you going to love? How are you going to surprise? How are you going to sprinkle these little cool things that people's hearts are going to go pitter patter? Joey cares about me. This is cool.
Yeah, and this is kind of related to the stuff that we're bombarded with and bombed with, inside the industry, because that's why the tripwire to me is like, are you kidding me? Like a tripwire. I want to give somebody a tripwire. And the one night stand relates to that whole 5 email sequence we just talked about, which is, you owe me something. I gave you a PDF. Give me this. Thank you very much. I've got your money. See you later. That's the one night stand part of it, right?
Right.
It's got to be mutually beneficial, which is that. So if you were really, going back to the romance piece of it, if you really want to build a relationship with somebody, it's not a one night stand. It's not like see you later. No, you're giving those little pieces of love throughout that relationship to build it, and that's what this is about. It's if you want to be married for a lifetime, that's what you're doing. You're not just saying thank you very much. It's over, and that's unfortunately how a lot of marketers operate. It's like it's about war. It's like, go get my tripwire, give me the thing, you owe me, one night stand, and I'm out. I'm gonna go
Right.
try and go get somebody else.
Cart's closing on Sunday. I'm going to send you 87 emails. Does that work? Yeah, that works. Are you going to build a long-lasting business of people you want to hang out with on a dream island?
Right.
Well,
And that's why I see a lot of people who are saying, like, well, what's the challenge for you? Well, I need more leads. Why do you need more leads? Well, because people already bought my stuff. Oh, okay. So you know what I mean? It's like their mentality is like, okay, I just got to keep on bringing more people in the top of the funnel. So they buy my tripwire, get the upsell thingy, and I've got their money. Now I got to go get more people because they don't care about the client. They don't love the client.
well, again, let's take love back to a relationship. You meet somebody that you just fall head over heels in love with, that you just want to be with, and you're with them. You don't get to the marriage, get married, and go, okay, we're done. Now I got to go start it all over again. Then you spend the rest of your life figuring out, how do I create this relationship deeper, more intense, more loving, more beneficial? Okay, said, yes, Scott, that's it. When you do what you do with love, the energy is so high that people immediately notice. They're just, yeah, thank you, Kay. You're spot on with that. Is people look at it and say, my God, what what passion that I see in that person. I want to be around that person. I want some of that.
Yeah, and I think that's leading into like the influence part of it, or what I call prefluence. And what is prefluence all about? What is influence? What is that about? And I'm sure that everybody listening right now has their own idea of what influence is, and it's not wrong. And it's just, how do you approach it from the concept of what we're talking about, which is loving the client, which is, and not having that score being kept. Well, I've gone into this thing and I gave, but I don't got anything from it.
Right.
Influence is, here's something I learned from Cialdini. I'm gonna drop a name here because Cialdini, I was blessed to work with him in a mastermind many years ago, and I'll never forget this.
Do you have a picture with him?
I do have a picture with him. I got
Good.
my whole hero picture and everything, and I'm proud of it.
Just checking. I want to make sure.
And yes, so, but he said, one was be more human. That was the whole thing. Like, if I could put it down to what's the entire strategy of marketing in today's world, and this was 10 years ago already, it's be more human. But what he also said was, now, geez, I forgot what I was going to say, 'cause you screwed me up with the damn
Okay,
picture.
you were okay. Cialdini influence.
Yeah, it'll come back to me now. It's like I just left an open loop. Like, what did he say? I forgot.
Well, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're a spiritual being.
Oh, okay, wait. Stop. Before I forget again. It was this. You don't turn influence on and off. Influence is always happening.
Yeah, one of the things that Angel taught me was omnipresence. It's kind of like prefluence. Is she gets out there and she just has this energy. You get on and you watch Angel, it's like, I want to hang out with her. She's cool and she's fun and she's vivacious and she's loving and there's hearts everywhere. And it's like, I'm a heart-centered person. I want to hang out with her. That's why I hang out with Angel.
Yeah.
I love Angel.
That's the whole thing. Like all of those, however you want to call it, whatever it is, omnipresence, I think, is from J. Abraham. I think that's where it was first introduced.
Okay.
And then, what is it from Evan Pagan says, like, moving the free line and all these ways of describing it. That's why mine is exactly the same as persuasion, influence. I call it prefluence. Just is what you call it. It's the same thing. It's just being out in the world and giving, to without expectations. But it's like if you're, but again, it's where if you look at influence, however you want to call it, omnipresence, whatever. If you're looking at what am I getting out of this, or I'm going to go now. I'm going to go. Here's a better way of describing this. I'm going to go today and influence. Okay, that
And after I influence, I'm going to go love.
yeah, like that's not that's you're either influencing or you're not. It's something you don't turn on and off, and that's what I wanted to bring to the table, which was an eye opener from Chelsea. That yes, I did have a picture, and yes, I had lunch with him, and all that kind of stuff, and yes, I'm a hero. So,
Yay, Joey.
gosh, um, let me just point out another a little. What did I not talk about here? I want to bring up. Oh, this is the thing about the influence, which is where I was going with it, is when you're influencing, it's all about giving because that's what attracts. Influence is not about the NLPs. It's not, and all that stuff works, right? Like we know it, but it's like if you just cut the crap and just give, that's an automatic influence. And if you don't give without if you give without expectations, that's even more powerful. So it is everything about a mindset. It is about can I love a client? Is that possible? And who are they? And I'm just going to go out and give and stop worrying about money. Stop worrying about selling.
Here's a question for you, Joey. Is there a danger in loving your clients and prospects and dream clients? Is there a danger in it?
I, I haven't found it.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes. But I haven't found it yet. I'm sure there's something, but I haven't found it. What about you? Like, what do you think?
Well, just one thing is when you put out so much loving energy, there needs to be a replenishment. That's a dangerous piece of if you're always giving, loving, giving, and not getting it back, there is a danger there.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because that was a big one for me. Was the receiving part.
Yeah.
So I even have that here as the note. So I want to. Okay, I hope I'm gonna actually copy this and put it into the banners, and I'm hoping it's gonna. There's enough key. Unless you.
We interrupt this special broadcast for a message from Joey Ragona as he figures out his technology.
No, it just doesn't give me enough. It just doesn't give me enough characters to
Right.
drop it in. But anyway, what I'm going to say is that it's the receiving part that you're right, because if you don't open yourself up to receiving love back, then it shuts down the entire system because you're just constantly, like you said, giving out. And the way that this is written here is all the giving in the world won't bring success, won't create the results you want unless you make yourself willing and able to receive in like measure. Because if you don't let yourself receive, you're refusing the gift of others and you shut down the flow. And that was a huge thing for me. And I'll tell you, it all started one day. Now I allow it. And you've maybe even seen me do it sometimes in the group where somebody will say whatever. And I'll say, yep, you know what? I'm going to take that. Thank you. Right. And let them know that I'm receiving that. But I'll never forget, Scott, let me just silence that phone. It was, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I was, talking to a friend who is a book publisher and all that. Anyway, he took me out to lunch, and like normal, when we take, I guess normal, but for me it was like, okay, I'm gotta be the guy who buys dinner, right? Because I'm taking this guy out. And he reached for the check, I reached for the check, And I go, no, I'll take it. He goes, no, let me take it. And I go, no, it's okay. You know how you do the whole thing, right? And then he says, Joey, let me tell you something. And I'm like, okay, dude, like what? He goes, sometimes when people want to give, like you have to accept that. And I understand the whole society thingy and blah, 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 and, whatever. But when somebody wants to give you something, you need to accept it. And that was the very first time that I recognized what this means. Is because he goes, you're stealing this away from me if you don't let me pay. It's not a power struggle here. It's not me trying to be better than you or you being better than me. And it was an eye opener for me.
John Gray, one of his books is Blocks to Love. And it's an important piece of ensuring that he talks about we have different tanks of love in our lives, and some of them are full, some of them may be cracked and leaking, and some of them are empty. And that it's important to recognize that in ourselves, that what are we doing to replenish our love tanks? And that's important.
Mm-hmm. There's no danger in truly loving, as I see it. I agree. There might be resistance to it for some people, but that's okay. And that's exactly right. Not everybody's going to agree with what we're talking about here, and that's cool. Giving and not receiving is no big deal if we're in the true essence of giving. In fact, we will always receive in some way. I believe that's true. You're exactly right.
Well, Joey, on that point, again, I'm not going to define higher power, God. Could be God, Buddha, Muhammad, Allah, Jesus, Muhammad, the Great Spirit, Mother Earth, a turnip, a tree, or a rock. It doesn't make a difference because those entities, those beings, that source is always loving us. When we look at the Dyer Dozen, he talks about anything less than love that goes to shame gets us away from source. Source is love, whatever you call that source.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there is no danger in truly loving. And Vern is absolutely right.
There's takers, matchers, and givers. I forget what book that's from. Anyway, remind me, Angel. But you're right. Adam Grant, I think, or whatever it is. I forget which one it was. Love everyone, and now I only give massively freely to givers. Cool.
Joey, I want to do a game show one night, and people will put a quote from a book, and you have to guess.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Let me see.
A bunch of comments. That is why we have two hands, one to give and one to receive.
Wow, that's really a cool quote.
Yeah, I like that. Wow.
That is so cool.
That is awesome.
Receiving is part of true giving, being in the flow like nature. There is give and take in nature. Yep. Not receiving denies the other person the pleasure of giving. Yeah, that's brilliantly summarized. That's exactly what I was trying to say. I never understood that, Dan. And it was like a shocker for me and it's funny because you said that now. My wife is like classic. When you try and give her something, she's like, I don't need this. And I threw that on her about a month ago. I said, you know what? You're denying me the pleasure of giving this to you.
And Joey, this reminds me of another piece is when we do deprive others of giving back to us. And I remember, I think I've shared with you when I first was on the platform and speaking a lot. And at the end, I'd get the applause and it'd be like, no, it's okay. Thank you. And I'd kind of walk off. I learned to stand there and soak in the love that was being given to me, because I just spent an hour, 3 hours, 2 days, just everything, pouring my heart out to love and help these people. And they wanted to give it back, and I wasn't accepting it. I would be like, nah, it's okay. I'm good. And walk off stage and go up to my room. And then it became accepting of it and appreciating and feeling it. And that just becomes so important, because when we get out there and we're really doing this as heart-centered entrepreneurs, business, spirit, souls, whatever, you can't turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a hard one for me to accept, but now I'm part of that. Now I think, even if I look back at this now by looking at that quote and saying, okay, if you don't accept the thing, you're stopping the flow. Now I could see it because it's like, hey, wait a minute, money isn't really a problem too much anymore. Is it because I've been giving? Maybe. Is it because maybe I'm accepting? Maybe there's something to this whole
No, it's because the
thing.
thing forget is wrong, and you don't have
Yeah.
the right lead magnet, and the tripwire is not converting because you don't have the right color button on your page, and the upsell is just not working. You don't have a self-liquidating offer, which is why nothing's working, Joey.
Yeah.
Lauren
Well,
says, I talk about receiving in the caregiving work I do. I know the law of reciprocity, I guess. It's
mhm.
still a challenge for me to receive quite often. I'm good at it in some ways, but not in others. Thank you for your vulnerability on that, Lauren. Exactly. It takes practice to receive and be
Yeah.
open to, when you put it out, you're like, yeah, it's okay. And then when it comes back, you sometimes are taken aback. Joey, when you and I first met, it was like, why is this dude doing all this stuff and helping me out? That what does he want? What's coming? What's the ulterior motive? When's the shoe going to drop? When's he going to piss me off? When's he going to leave? And that's the challenge that we face, because there's not a ton of people out there. We are the minority out there. There's not a lot of people that enter into the business world and say, I'm going to give it all I got. I'm going to love you. I'm going to give you value. I'm going to help you. And yes, at some point down the road, if you want my help in a much more personal way, well, then I have some things. But as I said, much down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're rightly, you have to, if you're a giving person, you have to open up to receive. And that will just keep that flow going. She heard it from Tony Robbins. Well, Tony Robbins heard it from Adam Grant or something like that. It's one of the two. I forget the dude. I didn't give you the second dude's name because I don't remember, but it's one of them where that is. There's a book that's called, I think it's called Give or something like that. Uh, anyway, no big deal. Discounting other people's values. And Scott, I've had to push you into receiving from me once or twice. Scott's done the same thing for me many times. He's like, Joey, you need to shut up for a second and you need to hear this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Many.
and Angel's absolutely right, because there was a time when Angel and I first met, and I just wanted to help her with her copy and this and that and that and that. And then she's like, "How can I help you?" I'm like, "I'm good. We're good. No worries." And then the next day we get on a call, and it'd be like, "Okay, Angel, I'm going to help you. I mean, Scott, I want to help you." Okay, and then it'd be like, "Okay, Angel, we need to do this and that and that and that." It was like, "Wait, I thought this was about you." It's like, it's not about me. It's about you. And she did push, and that's where you create amazing friends and people that you love. That, yeah, Joey, shut up right now. You need to hear this.
Right, right.
And you need to receive the love, because we're so busy giving it out. I believe we give out more than we receive.
Yeah. And that's totally fine.
Uh, yeah, there's not a scale. There's not a,
Right.
well, I gave out 87 kilobeamers of love today, and I only got back 14. I'm deficient. I need some extra love thingies tomorrow. No, you've heard me say, at the end of the day, if I've improved the quality of somebody's life by 10%, then it's been an amazing existence, because I don't know if I'm going to get another one.
Right. And you're right. And, I want to emphasize one piece of this because maybe somebody listening in either the live or replay, by the way, if you're live, let us know, hashtag live. Or if you're in the replay, hashtag replay, please let us know. Let's Facebook know. And if you like this conversation, give us a thumbs up or a heart, or whatever that thing is that happens on whatever channel you're on. And let us know, because it lets Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter know that we're doing an awesome job, which we are. We are doing an awesome job. I'm going to receive it because the universe is telling
For
me
you.
that we're doing an awesome job.
And Verna says, this has been beautiful. You guys, I need to move on now. Thanks so much for being who you are. Great to see all the comments here too. Thank you, Verna, for joining us. Great to have you in the community.
Thank you so much.
You're in for an incredible ride here. This is just a journey unlike any other. And now shut up for a minute, Joey, because you've many of you have heard us over the months, couple of years talk about the things we've done, the people we've studied, the books we've read, the seminars we went to, so the long list of things. And Joey shows up with no agenda. Joey gives and gives and gives. And there are times when I'll get on and say, Joey, what you're doing is absolutely amazing. It's incredible. I'm proud of you. It's fantastic. I love you for who you are and what you do. And look at all those loving hearts that are floating all over the place that
Thank you.
we get to receive. And Kay says, receive the love, Scott and Joe. We love you both. We love you too, Kay. How many places do you get to go online into a Facebook group or a business community where there's hearts flying all over the place? And we're talking about loving your clients and loving each other. And we tell Angel, I love you. Kay, I love everybody in this group. And Joey, I love you. And you love me. And it makes life so much easier to go out there and wake up and say, gosh, this is what I do and who I am and how I am.
Yeah, it truly is. Thank you for those kind words. It's amazing to receive. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful that when you go out into the world, know who it is that you love unconditionally in terms of your clients and want to spend your time with them without worrying about how are you going to be repaid. That's the whole underlying message of this conversation, because I can tell you that I've been in all of I've been down enough roads to tell you that this is by far the best, if you want to quote it in strategy, and that's what it is. But it's just being who you are, because I think the most valuable gift that you have in terms of marketing is to offer the world who you are.
You mean love people?
Love people, but also be who you are. And if you're somebody who naturally loves people, then don't be afraid of that. Don't be pulled down these other places that think, what's the objection handling sequence I need to convert people? You know, like that's what I mean, Scott. And we both know, and everybody listening, that there just aren't people who just aren't natural givers and lovers and all that kind of
No.
stuff, right? That's part of the world. But if that's who you are, then don't be afraid to show up, because that's how I've been able to build an amazing tribe of people who are here every single Tuesday night in our group, in our Facebook group, and the clients I love to work with and get up every day and would spend uh, the whole day with them, even if they weren't paying. It doesn't really matter. It's about how do I just show up and be who I truly am. And that's why, for me, it was my heart and head for truly fighting, because my head was saying, no, that the world is telling you to do this, these sequences and these countdown timers and these thingies, and my heart's going, dude, that sucks. Like, why would you do that? Like, that I don't want to be put through that. Why would you put everybody else through that?
Joey, it's uh, Angel said before that. Let's see. Angel,
Before that, what is he
no,
erasing here?
no. Keep going down. There's more comments.
Oh, I'm just going to go through them in order, just to give
Yeah.
just to give props.
Angel said something really powerful here.
Okay,
And
let's.
that was Verna. Petra.
This,
What if you receive a rejective reaction of the person you gave a gift you specifically made for this person, like for a teacher? Some even said, stop making things for me. It makes me uncomfortable.
ooh,
I think they were suspicious and would not accept my gift.
wow. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
I do.
Okay, go
Because
ahead.
it happened to me.
Okay.
I've given things of people and they're like, stop doing these things for me. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know how to accept that kind of love. And it's like, okay.
They said that word. They said, I don't know how to accept that kind of love.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. I don't know what to do with that. When I said, I love you, they said, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to accept that. And that I didn't need to get into, but obviously there's stuff in people's lives. People have stuff. And when it comes to love there is all kinds of crap in people's closets, in their heads, in their lives, in their past, in their history, in their minds surrounding that word. And
It's also not about that thing, Scott,
right.
right? It's like whatever is associated to
Yeah.
the giving piece of it, or they don't give an I don't whatever that is, it's not about you, Petra. It's about them.
Right.
And if you
Yeah.
understand that and respect them, say, okay, that's totally cool, but it's not about your gift. It's not about you. It's
Nope.
always about someone else association to whatever
Yeah.
the thing is going on.
Well,
Right?
and you look at this, and it could be somebody gave them gifts in the past to gain something, some
Right.
leverage, some part of a relationship, some dominance, some
Right.
power differential. And there's something that brings back that. Somebody that has received love all the time is going to be open to, oh my God, this feels great. Bring me more. Give me more.
Yeah.
And you're right, Joey. It's their stuff. It's their stuff, and it's like, okay, I respect that. I think Dan mentioned it a couple of times. Respect their values. Not everybody is, I'm not going to say capable of, because I believe everybody is capable of the most intense love, because there is no limit to the amount of love that we can experience. It's kind of like that scene at the end of the movie Ghost when Patrick Swayze is in between and he's describing to Demi Moore how intense the love is. There is no ceiling to the intensity of love. You can just keep loving more. It's the one thing that we get to do in quantitativeness.
Yeah. We love you back, Collie. And this step into your superhero and use it to love others. Yep.
That's where I was. Yeah, step into your superhero and use it to love others. Your superpowers. You know, again, I keep saying this to you, Joey, often, and I hope everybody else is doing the same thing. This sits next to my mouse.
The superpower matrix.
The superpower matrix. And if you don't have it, get it from Joey, because you'll be sitting on a call, you'll be talking about something, and you'll go, I didn't realize that needs to be on there. And I just threw something else on there.
It's part of what we just said before is, you know, the by being yourself, showing up as yourself, that's the most valuable gift that you have to give. If you want to know, like, how do I give? What do I give? Well, you give the world you, because there is no other you. And that all relates to the encompassing of attracting dream clients and all that other stuff. So you don't have to have anything to give except yourself, who you are.
And Lee says too, you always have to respect people's values. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel I wasted my superpower on them.
No.
Yeah, see, that's the wrong approach of it.
No, you can never waste it. You can't waste love. You can't. If you give a gift, then you've given it. It's out there. If you've given love, it's out there. If somebody doesn't receive it or chooses not to or takes it in the wrong way, then, and Lorna's got this here, the rejection of a gift might be linked to their love language. It could be, again, we're not going to get into the whole psychoanalytics of somebody's psyche and why they did or didn't. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, Petra, like when you look at this, you didn't waste anything. Like that mindset needs to change.
Yeah.
Is if you give something and it's not accepted, or people opted in, they didn't buy your thing, it's not a waste. I just wasted money on a Facebook ad. Like it all comes, we can all relate this to how the mindset is. And one of the things is to give without expectation. And if somebody rejects that, or however you want to look at it, then that's just not for them. And you haven't wasted a superpower on them. You've just found out something that they don't want. And
well, Joey, I'm going to interrupt here because I can. It kind of like you talking about the person that sits out there in the group or the world or wherever, watching and reading and this, and then one day says, you could give a gift of something to somebody, whether it's a tangible gift or an intangible gift of help, love, service, superpower. And today they may not be in a place to receive it, or they may even reject it. that doesn't mean that next month, 6 months, or a year down the road, something happens and they go, holy crap, that gift that was given to me really was given from the heart, and maybe I need to revisit it.
Right.
We can't, again, it goes to, I learned this many years ago. I used to be attached to the outcomes of businesses I built, of things
Sure.
I did. And not only that, I was attached emotionally to the outcome.
Right.
If it didn't turn out the way I planned it to be, that pardon this, Angel, that, the Tony Robbins dialogue was, it's certainty, it's there, it's happened. And then it didn't happen. And then I'd be like emotionally attached and discouraged and this and crap. And then it became, okay, there is no emotional attachment to the outcome. The outcome is just the outcome. No judgment, good, bad, indifferent. That's the outcome that's supposed to be, to get to what's on the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with that fully.
Yeah.
So the key really is, like, it's possible to love your client, right?
Yeah.
We've established that. We know that the key is to give, and without expectations, beyond everything else. And the more you give, the more you're going to receive, but it may not be a give and take right now. You may have to give for 6 months. You may have to give for a year, 2 years. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah. Who
Before
knows?
you ever begin to receive something. And it's
Well,
not like on the clock by going, when am I going to receive? You know?
let's say that you meet somebody and you fall head over heels in love with them, and your heart is just like, that's it. You don't stop. You do whatever it takes to give that love and love and love and love. And look at love stories throughout the years of,
Mhm.
well, I met this person and I liked them and this and that, and it was 2 years later that all of a sudden it just happened. Or we were friends for 5 years and then we got married because we loved each other. It's the same thing we're doing in business here. We can't put it on a timetable of, well, you haven't converted in this period of time because blah, blah, blah.
And that's why I'm so adamant about dream clients. That's why I talk about dream clients so much, that people think they get it who don't get it. They're like, oh, that's an avatar. I get it. My dream client is this person. He's got, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not. Look, if you can't say to me that you would spend the rest of your life with this person, that you would love them unconditionally, because they're not buying your stuff, then that's a dream client. Like, it's not about it's about investing that time. It's about that romance. That the quote. How long are you willing to continue to give and give and give and romance that client or that person on your list, and let them make that move toward loving you back? That's what it's about. If you don't unconditionally love that dream client or have that dream client in mind, all it is an avatar. I get it. It's a target audience. It's an avatar. It's a person. Great. But would you spend the rest of your life with that person? I see it
Well,
over and over again every day.
this whole topic has brought up an interesting piece to the dream client connection, Joey.
Hmm.
And we've talked a lot on the calls. You talk about an atlas, you talk about it in Dream Client Connection. We talked about it in the first beta of Dream Client Connection. And I don't know that we spent much time on this piece of it. And when you define your dream client, maybe we need to look at, what do we add to our dream client list of, we want to work with people who can receive love. That's just something to consider out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but you see the other things too. That's part of it. It's also that when you're talking about the dream client, already the concept of bringing them, at least when people coming into my world, and they see the difference between the avatar and the dream client, then that's a whole new concept. As holy crap. And then that other level of going deeper into, like, giving love and all that, that's like it's a major thing, man. Like, there's a lot of mind shifts that are happening here,
Yeah.
right?
And Joey, there are people that are going to hate you.
That's fine.
I'm just saying to people out there, there are people that are going to look at you and go, "This guy is an idiot talking
Yeah,
about
it's like he's out to lunch. Like, I get it.
spirituality and love and
It's-
yoga and meditation and and this and blah and oh, no, that's okay, great, fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it all started when I would have debates about just having your client as a friend. That's where it all started.
Yeah,
That's impossible. You can't have a friend as a client. Are you going, you're kidding me? You can't have a friend. Your client can't be a friend. And then I would get people debating me all the time. So you're saying that the people that you have and your people paying you are your friends. You would have them over your house. Of course I would.
yeah, Joey.
What's
Years ago, another software company many years ago that I had built, I go to like different states and have people that were representing the software, and we'd invite people over to the house and we'd cook meals for them and we'd hang out together and we'd be a family because that's who we wanted to hang out with.
yeah. This is a great book too, The Five Love Languages. Norna asked me for the notes on that, by the way, in the mastermind thingy.
Okay.
I'll give them to you if you want them. But that's a great thing. I agree. It's awesome.
Yep. 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 Yep.
All right, we have amazing conversation. Thank you, Scott, as always. I'm hoping this was of value to you. If you're watching us live on the live right now, or even on the replay, and you have anything to comment on, feedback, put it in the comments. We come back here and I go back through them anyway and respond to you if you're watching on the replay, because we are at the end of our broadcast right now. And just one more plug for the Facebook group. If you are not in our Facebook group, an awesome, amazing community of people who love each other, supporting each other, not expecting anything, just supporting each other. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing to be a part of that community, because from what I hear, it's a community that people love being a part of and feel safe, feel vulnerable. And I'm just echoing what other people say. So I'd love to have you there if you're heart-centered and want to support and love other people too.
It's one of the most incredible groups I've ever had the opportunity to be a part of because, like you said, Joey, it's heart centered, it's loving, it's supportive. There's no crap goes on in there. There's no anything. It's just amazing. And Collie, thank you. Amazing. The best way to spend Tuesday. Thanks from my heart and soul. Love you guys. We love you too.
Love you. Love everybody. This is amazing. We will hopefully see you, God's willing, next week on November. I don't know what that date will be, but it's next Tuesday.
It's the 16th.
16th. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
God bless. Go great speed forward and all that funky stuff. And have yourself an awesome, awesome Tuesday night. We will see you next week. Ciao.